I was sitting in my small, cluttered office on the third floor when my phone buzzed with a text from my brother Derek. Reported your messy office to management. Someone needs to maintain professional standards in this building. Maybe they'll finally move you back to the warehouse where you belong. You're an embarrassment. He had actually taken a photo of my office through the window and sent it to building management as a formal complaint. I set my phone down and returned to the HVAC schematic I had been reviewing. The Riverside Commerce Center's climate control system needed updating, and I was working on a plan that wouldn't disrupt the 15 companies leasing space in the building. A few minutes later, another text arrived. By the way, just landed the Meridian account. $2.3 million contract? Keep fixing those air conditioners, though. Someone has to do the grunt work. Derek was my older brother by 3 years. He worked on the 18th floor as a senior sales executive for Titanium Solutions, one of the building's largest tenants. In his world, he was the success story. Expensive suits, a corner office, business class travel. I was the family disappointment, working maintenance in the same building where he closed million-dollar deals, wearing work clothes, eating deli sandwiches. What none of them knew, what Derek especially didn't know, was that I wasn't employed by building management. I was building management. More specifically, I owned the building. All 20 floors, all 340,000 square feet, all 15 tenant companies paying me rent every month, including Titanium Solutions, whose lease renewal was coming up in 6 months. I had purchased the Riverside Commerce Center 8 years ago for $47 million when it was struggling with 30% vacancy and deferred maintenance. After 3 years of renovations and repositioning, it was now 98% occupied and valued at approximately $180 million. But I kept my ownership anonymous. I operated through holding companies, and the building's official property manager was Catherine Chin, who handled tenant relations. The on-site staff knew me simply as Alex, the guy who handled maintenance coordination and building systems. I preferred it this way. When executives thought I was nobody important, they revealed their actual character. My intercom buzzed. "Alex, it's Catherine. Can you come up to the management office?" Catherine's office was on the 20th floor. When I arrived, she turned her monitor to show me Derek's formal complaint, complete with photos of my cluttered desk, stacked papers, and a comparison photo of his own immaculate office on the 18th floor, suggesting this was the standard all building employees should maintain. "Your brother really doesn't like you," Catherine observed. "He really doesn't," I agreed. "What did you tell him?" "That building ownership would review it and respond appropriately." She paused. "Which is technically true. You are building ownership. So what would you like to do?" This wasn't Derek's first attempt to get me fired. Over the past 3 years, he had complained about me taking too many breaks, reported me for unauthorized access to executive floors, and demanded I be written up for insubordination. I had let all of it go because it didn't actually matter. Every complaint came straight to me. But this felt different. This was Derek actively trying to sabotage me, using his position at a major tenant company to add weight to his complaint. I said slowly, "it's time for Derek to understand the actual organizational structure of this building. Schedule a meeting with the Titanium Solutions executive team. Tell them building ownership wants to discuss their lease renewal. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., at main conference room. Make sure Derek is included." Catherine smiled. "This is going to be memorable." The next afternoon, I walked into the conference room wearing one of my tailored suits. Nothing like the cargo pants and work boots Derek was used to seeing me in. James Whitmore, Titanium Solutions CEO, looked puzzled. Rebecca Sato, their CFO, glanced at her watch. Martin Kovac, their COO, was scrolling through his phone. And Derek went absolutely white. That's my brother," Derek said, his voice strangled. "Why is my brother here?" "He's maintenance staff." "Good afternoon, everyone," I said, taking my seat at the head of the table. "I'm Alex Morrison, owner of Riverside Commerce Center and principal of Riverside Property Holdings. Thank you for making time today." The silence that followed was profound. I walked them through 8 years of building performance data, occupancy rates, capital improvements, tenant satisfaction scores, value appreciation. Then I addressed the real reason for the meeting. Titanium Solutions had generated 3 times more maintenance requests than comparable tenants. They were habitually late on common area charges. They had made several unauthorized modifications to their space, including electrical work that didn't meet code. And over 5 years, there had been 60 documented incidents of their employees treating building staff with disrespect or outright hostility. 17 of those incidents specifically referenced Derek. "March 15th, 2024, I read aloud. Derek Morrison berated cleaning staff for emptying trash during business hours, demanded they return after 7 p.m. even though their shift ends at 6, and threatened to have them fired when they explained building policy. James turned slowly toward Derek. Is this accurate? They were disrupting a client meeting, Derek started. By doing their assigned job on their assigned schedule, James said, his voice ice cold. Derek, my office after this meeting. I then presented the lease renewal terms. A 37% increase to market rate, stricter payment conditions, required approval for all modifications, and a new clause requiring respectful treatment of building staff, with financial penalties and ultimately lease termination for repeated violations. James Whitmore accepted every term. That evening, Derek came to my actual office on the 20th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows, modern furniture, architectural models of my properties lining the shelves. He stood in the doorway, tie loosened, expression hollow. Why? He asked. Why pretend to be maintenance staff? Because when people think you're nobody important, they show you who they really are, I said. You've spent years treating me like a failure, mocking my work, filing complaints against me. And you felt safe doing it because you thought I was powerless. Derek sank into a chair. James is probably going to fire me. That's his decision. But Derek, are you sorry because you got caught? Or because you understand why it was wrong? He was quiet for a long time. Both, he finally said. I'm starting to understand how badly I've treated people. Not just you, everyone I thought was beneath me. That's a start. Titanium Solutions renewed their lease. Derek was placed on a performance improvement plan, his bonus cut, his promotion delayed. He apologized to building staff he had mistreated. He helped implement a new cultural training program for his company. 6 months later, we had dinner together at a restaurant we both chose, neutral territory. I told Mom and Dad, Derek said. About the building, about everything. How did they take it? Mom cried. Dad was confused for 3 days. Then they asked why you never told them. He paused. I explained that you probably didn't tell them for the same reason you didn't tell me. You wanted to be valued for who you are, not what you own. That's surprisingly insightful, I said. Derek smiled slightly. I'm working on the insight thing. A year later, the Riverside Commerce Center was featured in a commercial real estate publication as one of the city's best-managed mid-rise properties. Derek was quoted, not as a tenant executive, but as someone who had volunteered to learn building management from the ground up. I thought I understood real estate because I worked in an office building, he said. I didn't understand anything. There's incredible skill required to keep a building running. I'm grateful I got the chance to learn that. My parents framed the article and hung it on their living room wall. And every Saturday morning, Derek still showed up at 8 a.m. to help with maintenance coordination and building inspections. He wasn't great at it, but he was trying. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about the office you have or the title on your business card. It's about who you choose to be when you think nobody important is watching. And sometimes the brother you dismiss as maintenance staff turns out to own the entire building and everything in it.